Hello, hello, pa 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 la pa la pa pa pa. Hello, how are you? How are you? Oh, what's the name of this ABC News Daily? Can you do that one? That one. Oh, what am I doing? That one? That one? So that one, that one. You got all that, don't you? Then go play it. So we'll talk now. We'll say the news. We'll say the thing. Hello, okay. This one.
ABC Listen. Podcasts, radio, news. Doing with his right hand. Look for Not Stupid on the ABC Listen app. Worse rather than better. Today, social justice commentator Tim Costello on the unrest in our cities since the October 7 terrorist attack and the war in Gaza. I'm Sam Hawley on Gadigal land in Sydney. This is ABC News Daily. Sort of tightrope.
Look, I think it's always hard. Being has also caused and condemning it.
Okay, they're talking about anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism. What's that mean? Anti-Semitism. What's that mean? Oh, look on my computer. Anti-Semitism. Anti. What the hell? Where the fuck am I taking me? Your monitor. What is it? In 2005, the UA Monitoring Center raised xenophobia AUMC, now U Agenda for Fundamental Rights, FRA, adopted working definition in Semitism, which is becoming a standard beneficiary of around the world, including European Parliament, UK. So it's a bad word or something. Anyway, anti-Semitism, hostility and prejudice directed against Jewish people. Campaign against anti-Semitism is a volunteer-led charity exposed, including anti-Semites, broad educated, zero tolerant enforce of the law. Everything that we do is done. Hostility to produce against Jewish people. He is a leader of the fight against anti-Semitism. She condemned anti-Semitism in a message of campus. Justified. Anyway, if we create words or other political protests where we go anti-racist, Hi Hitler, 666. I'm in Australia, shouldn't talk like that. Shouldn't talk like that. Australians are not like that. They're not Hi Hitler. They're not 666. Go kill Antifa, fascists. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Anti-Semitism, and then there's more outbreaks.
Can go get fucked and go get fucked.
So I do believe anti-Semitism.
Can go get fucked. Go get fucked.
In Islamophobia.
Go get fucked. Go get fucked.
Are at work in our communities, but I think the politicisation of it without nuance has also cause some rupture in our social cohesion.
And that, you argue, is causing the Prime Minister to walk this sort of tightrope.
Look, I think it's always hard being a bit of a meat in the sandwich. I think he has been trying. And, the politics of it are that Labor electorates and electorates they have to win have large Arab populations who, when you are watching, as we have been, the events in Gaza and our news every night, feel an existential threat. I think the coalition have absolutely doubled down and now have pocketed effectively every Australian Jewish vote in this next election. And that means the Prime Minister is sort of a meat in the sandwich, sort of flailing at both. Look, I think it's taken him too long probably to call a national cabinet together as the Jewish community have been calling for. He's now just done it. I think the sort of obtuse debates about should the police have called it terror, or is it just a hate crime, or is it just an ordinary crime, confuses most of us. When the synagogues have been burnt, we're just going, actually, we need to say this must stop and use whatever tools of law enforcement at our beckoning, but not then allow the idea that any criticism of Israel's policies is somehow anti-Semitism. We keep getting pushed into these polarised positions that lack nuance. We need to cross the line. We need to actually not be just politically motivated ourselves, but be citizens of goodwill condemning anti-Semitism, being free to speak about how we believe in a two-state solution and peace and push for that, and avoid the politicisation that I think has happened here in Australia and I do think is contributing to the breakdown of social cohesion.
All right. So, Tim, if politicians can't bring about this social cohesion that I think we all want, I mean, there would be very, very few people that would want to see a synagogue attacked like this in this country. What can we do? You have one example, because just tell me about this. Over the new year, as a religious man, of course, you mix things up a bit. So you went to tell me about it, you went to a Catholic church.
Yeah, and it's a very small thing, but I was very personally aware that I'm in my own bubble. We all know we're in our own bubbles, and we feel vindicated when people in our bubble affirm our views. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go to a Catholic church instead of my...
And you're Protestant.
I'm a Baptist minister.
Yes.
I wandered in and... I was really pleasantly surprised. A packed church with Filipinos and Africans and Indians and wonderful music, a wonderful sense of social cohesion, an African Nigerian-born priest who in the prayers prayed for Palestinian and Israeli Jews and prayed and said, neither ethnicity or religion or colour determines who we are. And I found it a moment of inspiration. Australia has plenty of social cohesion, goodwill. We actually have to keep crossing the line. And that was just one small act I did.
Yeah, okay, but, is it really possible? I mean, a practicing Jew can attend a mosque, a Muslim can go into a synagogue, but it doesn't address that underlying issue at a time of great conflict. People are deeply angry, aren't they, at what they see in Gaza, even with this ceasefire now in place. The death toll is absolutely horrendous, as of course was the attack in Israel. This is so deeply polarising. It's so hard to fix this.
It really is, but at the grassroots level, when political leaders are flailing and failing, we see Arab Muslims and Israeli Jews working together in providing medical assistance in Gaza and in the West Bank right through the war since the 7th of October. Project Rosanna, which I'm a patron for, made up of Zionists and Muslim Palestinians working together. So that's the crossing of the line far more morally significant than my little one of going to a Catholic church. At a grassroots level, when political leaders are failing, we are still seeing these examples that give me hope.
And of course, not every Jewish Australian supports what's happening in Gaza.
Totally.
That might be lost on some people.
Totally. An Australian Jewish Zionist friend who, texted me when Prime Minister Netanyahu suggested somehow criticising his policies was anti-Semitism. He said, I'm a Zionist, and if I can't criticise his policies because I do disagree with many of them. Now, that's nuance. For other Australians, particularly Arab Muslim Australians, to understand that Jewish Australian Zionists aren't simply black and white.
Well, Tim, what's your message then, particularly, I think, to our political leaders? You argue they need to assert justice for both sides.
Exactly. Look, they've got to turn the temperature down, which is very hard with a federal election coming and each eyeing how this conflict translates into votes or loss of votes. Actually, far more important than that political exercise is to say social cohesion is a multi-partisan responsibility. Turn the temperature down, speak together, do even press conferences together, turning the temperature down. That's what I'd call on our political leaders to do.
Tim Costello is a senior fellow at the Centre for Public Christianity and the chief advocate for the Alliance for Gambling Reform. This episode was produced by Sydney Peed, Cara Jensen McKinnon and Anna John. Audio production by Sam Dunn. Our supervising producer is David Cody. To get in touch with the team, please...
In the future, the other people will go to the source to get the information, to take it to the news report, to admit it, and we'll protest for Palestinian freedom, justice. Everyone needs to live. What's this one?
ABC Listen. Podcasts, radio. Elon Musk doing with his right hand? Look for Not Stupid on the ABC Listen app.
Donald Trump's been back in the White House for less than a week, but already it's been a wild ride. From immigration...
And this shouldn't be two countries to accept these people, so it's tremendously complicated.
What's Trump doing to the immigration? What's Trump doing to the illegal immigrant and criminals? What is Trump doing to illegal immigrants and criminals? I love you.
It's going to take some time, and then I think we're going to see whether and to what extent it causes large-scale disruptions in society. You know, we already have reports.
We are one, we are many, we are Australian, you're white. People are crying and people are peaceful, and nice to be together working out what's life all about.
That the business community is worried about how they will fill jobs, whether, they'll be able to pick crops in agricultural communities if the workforce, which has always...
Trump is the president of America.
Relied to a great extent on undocumented labor, is either too afraid to come to work or has actually been kicked out of the country. So a lot of questions about the long-term consequences, both in terms of Trump's popularity and in terms of just the functioning of society as these orders start getting carried out.
But already Congress has passed a bill relating to this, requiring the detention and deportation of illegal migrants charged with crimes such as minor theft and things like shoplifting. How big a shift is that?
Well, on the one hand, some critics say these people were already subject to detention and potential deportation. It was just that they were sometimes deprioritized if they were charged with minor offenses in favor of people who had been charged with things like rape and murder. And so there are a lot of questions about, again, the resource question, how it will be possible, given just the financial constraints, to detain people charged with relatively minor offenses. But the bill is named after Laken Riley, who was murdered by an illegal immigrant who had previously been detained and then released for shoplifting. So the idea behind the bill is that if you were to detain those people and prevent them from being let loose, that you could prevent tragedies like that one. But that's the purpose behind the bill, and we saw many Democrats get on board with it because they too believe that the voters have spoken and they want to see a much tougher approach on this issue.
All right, well, there's so much more, of course, that Donald Trump has moved to do in these first days of his presidency. Probably too much for us to cover the whole lot of it. But is there anything else particularly that stands out to you, Molly, that strikes you as remarkably different from Donald Trump than we saw from his first presidency?
I would say a couple of things. I would say, first of all, the sweeping changes to the federal workforce, from ordering the elimination of diversity initiatives and redefining the way the federal government recognizes sex and gender, eliminating the recognition of transgender identity. And that has the potential to cause a quite sweeping disruption. And lastly, I would say just the sheer volume. As you say, it is difficult to even comprehend the full scale of things that Trump is doing all at once. And that's the point. The idea is to flood the zone, as they say, and to do so many things at once that it's impossible for anyone to even focus on any one thing.
Well, Molly, is there, though, a limit on what Trump can do? We have already seen some court challenges starting. His move to end birthright citizenship, for instance, that's been challenged in the courts. Will there be meaningful challenges, though? Can anything be stopped at this point?
Well, I think we're going to see. You know, Trump is not someone who has a great deal of reverence for the separation of powers and the checks and balances that are enshrined in the Constitution. He also has installed 3 Supreme Court justices who are more sympathetic to his point of view, although not slavishly so. So these things will work their way through the court system. But, you know, I wouldn't underestimate Trump's willingness to simply defy all of the other institutions of government and do what he wants to do.
All right. So, Molly, dare I ask, what are you expecting in week 2 of the Trump presidency?
Well, there were some significant promises that Trump didn't start executing on day one. I think first and foremost, the tariffs. He keeps threatening tariffs, but he hasn't done them yet. And there's a bit of disagreement within his orbit about how far to go and how fast, and whether these tariffs are something he's going to go all the way on, or whether they're more of a negotiating tactic. But you can only keep threatening for so long before people figure out that you're crying wolf. So we're all waiting to see when and how those get imposed. And this is also something he's threatening Putin with, saying he's got to end the Ukraine war or Russia will be subject to large scale, economic punishment. Again, is that something that's really going to happen, or is this mere saber rattling? And then the legislation that's going to consume Congress for pretty much the entirety of this year is legislation having to do with taxes and spending. And Trump has taken a very light touch on this and has not given a lot of guidance to his very narrow Republican majorities in the House and Senate. So this is another thing that particularly the business community is sort of on tenterhooks about, waiting to see whether and how they'll be able to get that done.
If it continues at this pace, Molly, I think you may need a clone to keep up with all the work that you're going to have to be doing. So best of luck. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Molly Ball is a senior political correspondent for the Wall Street Journal. This episode was produced by Sydney Peed, Cara Jensen.
Okay, the next episode, I think Trump's doing all right. I don't see any. The immigrant, that's what we wanted, the immigrant. There's 2. Look. There they are, 2.
ABC Listen Podcasts, radio,
Why
news,
China?
music.
Why China depends sick in freaked out Wall Street? Why China deep sick or freaked out Wall Street? Okay.
And more. Gone.
Changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
Not quite then. I'm Matt Bevan from If You're Listening, and 5.
Now they're trying to remove President Yoon as well.
Radio, news, music, and more.
It's been a few big years for world news: war, pandemic, disaster. Surely we're due a quiet one in 2025.
Now they're trying to remove President Yoon as well.
All the multi-million-dollar beachfront homes are gone.
Changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
Not quite then. I'm Matt Bevan from If You're Listening, and if you want to keep across world news, we break down the most interesting world news story each week. Find it now on ABC Listen.
It shocked Silicon Valley and set tech stocks tumbling when a little-known Chinese company, DeepSeek, launched its own artificial intelligence chatbot after spending far less money than its competitors. The sector panicked. Today, Professor Michael Blumenstein from the Artificial Intelligence Institute at UTS on what DeepSeek has managed to pull off and how it could change the entire AI landscape. I'm Sam Hawley on Gadigal land in Sydney. This is ABC News Daily.
The software, again, there's a reduction.
They make incredible chips. They make incredible significant contribution into the website. Download this program, download that program, this, that, and the program. What was it? The X this, X that, and extras. And if you download it, it'll update like this, and it'll do this, and it'll do that. Putting it all together. Understanding
Cost.
AI, artificial intelligence.
And as you say, it became the most downloaded free app in the Apple App Store in the United
That there has been some change to 10 times less cost than some of the other rivals. So to me, this is a massive shift because basically, and
lot less than something like ChatGPT, isn't it?
yeah, that's correct. I mean, what they're saying is it's about 3 to 5% of the cost of something like OpenAI and OpenAI's ChatGPT, and somewhere in the realms of 20 to 10 times less cost than some of the other rivals. So to me, this is a massive shift because basically what's happened is that there has been some changes in the market. For example, the United States, through the previous Biden government, issued an order that restricted the actual export of chips to certain countries.
The United States has announced further restrictions on the export of computer chip technology to China.
As the land of liberty, America, not China, must lead the world in the development of AI.
And what that's done is it's actually said it appears that companies like DeepSeek are looking at that and going, well, how do we overcome that if we don't have access to the most cutting-edge chips? Well, let's now try and change the way our software operates so that we're not so reliant on those chips. And of course, if you've got less chips, you've got less cost, and if you've got more efficiency.
That's what I was trying to do. Look, I was trying to do this. What do I have to do? Go here.
Ainews text to video, Ainews Google search. The biggest news that's been going on in the world, as of recently, was last week's announcement of OpenAI's Zero-1 model. OI News. OI video creation explodes in 2024. Matt Wolf. To create a news video, will use a powered video editor CAP. Cut. It's 100% free and easy to use. Free ainews video generator. Create an OI News presenter in just 5. OI Lookup. Today, our beloved YouTube channel A Lookup will share the step-by-step method of creating a new presenter like me. Create an OI News presenter in just 5 minutes with a free ainews video. OI Lookup. I show you the best and most amazing thing that I found about new developments in the landscape now. Get ready for the best AI news before 2025 top free tool access. Olivio Sarikas. 29th February 2024. Create AI news videos with avatars. Boost the efficiency of your blog with digital news presenters in only a few clicks. 17th October 2024. Deep Brain AI instantly transforms your text into broadcast-ready news videos. With AI Studios, the traditional video production process is simplified. 15th February 2024. OpenAI on Thursday unveiled its new text-to-video model Sora, which can generate videos up to a minute long based on whatever prompt a user types into a text. 1st April 2024. OpenAI has launched text-to-video tool Sora for testing, with the intention of one day making it available to the public, just like ChatGPT. 16th February 2024. In short, OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, has launched a new tool which can instantly generate short videos from text prompts. The new tool, called Sora. 7 days ago, Syntheshire is the top choice for creating professional videos featuring AI avatars. It supports over 140 languages and offers realistic, customizable avatars. 22nd May 2024. All the best of AI for content creation at your fingertips. Instantly convert URLs, text files, prompts, and news articles into video. Let's take our AI anchor. 9th December 2024. OpenAI said Monday it's releasing its buzzy AI video generation tool, Sora, later in the day. The AI video generation model works similarly to OpenAI's Image Minus. AI News Anchor Video Generator. Create AI News Anchor Video. Supercharge your news production with AI avatars. Create breaking news videos, news segments, and more in minutes. Loved by 2 million plus users. AI-driven video production for news media. Production quality news videos without the traditional time, cost, and resources needed. Break news faster with AI Studios. Camera ready 24/7. Avatars are ready to create videos anytime, from anywhere, eliminating the need for makeup, scheduling, or other preparations. Lifelike text-to-speech. Avatars say the script perfectly each time in over 80 languages, making reshoots, dubbing, or translations unnecessary. AI video editing tools. All the best of AI for content creation at your fingertips. Instantly convert URLs, text files, prompts, and news articles into video. Let's take our AI anchor from the broadcast station. Discover how our customers are harnessing AI Studios to transform their news video production. AI Studios. Virtual News Correspondent. Fox 26 uses AI Studios weekly to deliver highlights on local and national news, using a virtual correspondent named Reva Houston. Our AI video generator enables the Fox 26 team to create videos without the extensive resources and time typically required for a segment like this, allowing them to focus on higher impact projects. Custom Avatar plus AI Studios. AI News Anchor. Deep Brain AI developed an AI anchor modeled after Wangguan for CCTV, complete with natural voice, appearance, and movements. The AI anchor appears in news and economic programs, allowing the real anchor Wang more flexibility in his schedule. AI Studios. AI Reporter. Kim Joo-ha, the main reporter on MBN News Channel, created an AI anchor to support her busy filming schedule. AI Kim Joo-ha now has her own news.
Well, there you can come and get it at this A Studios.com, AI Studios, new video anchor, creator, free, you can come and get it. This.
OpenAI gives first look at Sora, an AI tool which creates video from just a line of text. Science, climate and tech news. Sky News. OpenAI has shared a first glimpse at a new tool that instantly generates videos from just a line of text. Dubbed Sora after the Japanese word for sky, OpenAI's tool marks the latest leap forward by artificial intelligence firm, as Google, Meta and the startup Runway ML work on similar models. The company behind ChatGPT said that Sora's model understands how objects exist in the physical world and can accurately interpret props and generate compelling characters that express vibrant emotions. In examples posted on their website, OpenAI showed off a number of videos generated by Sora without modification. One clip highlighted a photorealistic woman walking down a rainy Tokyo street. The prompts included that she walks confidently and casually, that the street is damp and reflective, creating a mirror effect of the colorful lights, and that many pedestrians walk about. Another, with the prompt several giant woolly mammoths approach treading through a snowy meadow, showed the extinct animals near a mountain range sending up powdered snow as they walked. One AI-generated video also showed a Dalmatian walking along windowsills in Brno, Italy, while another took the viewer on a tour of an art gallery with many beautiful works of art in different styles. Copyright and privacy concerns. View to Penison's tool has been met with skepticism and concern it could be misused. Rachel Tabak, who is a member of the Technical Advisory Council of the USS Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency CISA, posted on X that we need to discuss the risks of the AI model. My biggest concern is how this content could be used to trick, manipulate, phish, and confuse the general public, she said. Lack of transparency. Others also flagged concerns about copyright and privacy, with the CEO of non-profit AI firm Fairly Trained Ed Newton Rex adding, "You simply cannot argue that these models don't or won't compete with the content they're trained on, and the human creators behind that content. What is the model trained on? Did the training data providers consent to their work being used? The total lack of info from OpenAI on this doesn't inspire confidence. Read more. Fake AI-generated Biden tells people not to vote. Sadiq Khan. Deepfake almost caused serious disorder. OpenAI said in a blog post that it is engaging with artists, policymakers and others to ensure safety before releasing the new tool to the public. We are working with red teamers, domain experts in areas like misinformation, hateful content, and bias who will be adversarially testing the model, the company said. We're also building tools to help detect misleading content such as a detection classifier that can tell when a video was generated by Sora. OpenAI cannot predict Sora use. However, the firm admitted that despite extensive research and testing, we cannot predict all of the beneficial ways people will use our technology, nor all the ways people will abuse it. That's why we believe that learning from real-world use is a
So I'm currently out in Boston for HubSpot Inbound, and well, I'm kind of in a tiny hotel room with no desk, so I'm improvising and using what I got because I want to share.
This is my reaction to the video. Then I need to react to it. Reaction to the video. Oh, mierda. Whoopa.
To share all the latest news with you in the world of AI. Right now, we're sort of in the midst of conference season. This week alone, we had HubSpot Inbound. We had Salesforce's Dreamforce event. Amazon had an event where they announced some new features. YouTube held an event where they showed off some new features. Snapchat held an event where they showed off some new features. Next week, we got Meta Connect, which I'm going to be flying out to that right after HubSpot Inbound. Tons of conferences are going on, which means tons of announcements are happening. But I'm going to go ahead and jump in and start with an announcement that didn't come from one of these conferences. Let's start with talking about OpenAI. So this week, OpenAI put out this blog post here, an update on our safety and security practices. Now, this blog post talks about some of the new security measures they're implementing, as well as being more transparent. But probably the biggest news to come out of this specific article on the OpenAI blog here is this portion right here about establishing independent governance for safety and security. Now, when it breaks down the board here in this message, we can see the board is going to be chaired by Zico Coulter and include Adam D'Angelo, Paul Nakasone, and Nicole Seligman. One name that is absent from this board is Sam Altman. He is apparently stepping down from this safety and security committee and completely putting it in the hands of others. Now, the biggest news that's been going on in the AI world as of recently was last week's announcement of OpenAI's O1 model. It's a model that is much more effective at logic and reasoning and complex math problems and sort of STEM subjects. Well, this week, OpenAI announced that they've increased the rate limits for Plus and Team users by 7 times. Now, admittedly, I have not been home almost all month this month, so I haven't really had the opportunity to deep dive and play with OpenAI O1 myself. I'm super excited to get back to my house after Meta Connect next week and really spend some time deep diving on this O1 model. That way I can share with you some videos and tutorials and different ways that I'm using it and my own findings from playing around with it. But honestly, I just have not had the opportunity yet. However, I have been seeing some really cool stuff that people have been doing with OpenAI O1. For instance, my internet buddy here, Amar Reshi, actually managed to make a 3D version of the Snake game in under a minute. So check this out when I pull this up to full screen here. He managed to make this 3D version of Snake that we're seeing right here on the screen in under a minute. And it actually looks really good. So I mean, with coding tasks, my main go-to has been Claude Sonnet 3.5 lately. I've thought that's done a really good job with coding, but I don't know, man. OpenAI O1 seems to possibly have it beat with coding, so I can't wait to play around with it some more. And since OpenAI's O1 has come out, pretty much all the tools that have integrated the previous versions of GPT-4 have started integrating this new model. For instance, if you're a GitHub Copilot user, this week you can now use OpenAI's O1 model directly inside of GitHub Copilot. If you're a fan of Perplexity like I am, our event here announced that they've added a new reasoning focus on Perplexity for pro users. So if you're one of the paying pro members of Perplexity, you can now use the new OpenAI O1 mini model directly inside of Perplexity. Now, it doesn't search the web yet and integrate that with your responses, and you only have 10 uses a day, as we can see right here with it. But exciting to see that Perplexity, a model that I really enjoy using, is adding all of the latest state-of-the-art models into their platform as well. Now, there's been some weird stuff happening at OpenAI around this O1 model as well. For instance, people are claiming that OpenAI is threatening to ban them if they try to essentially jailbreak this new model. According to this article here, someone claimed that they received a warning email if they used the term reasoning trace in conversation with O1. Others have claimed that the warning is triggered simply by asking ChatGPT about the model's reasoning at all. Here's a screenshot of an email that one person received. Hello, we're reaching out to you as a user of OpenAI's ChatGPT because some of the requests associated with your email have been flagged by our systems to be in violation of our policy against attempting to circumvent safeguards or safety mitigations in our services. Please halt this activity and ensure you are using ChatGPT in accordance with our terms of use and usage policies. Additional violations may result in loss of access to GPT-4o, etc. Now, if you have used this O1 model at all, you'll notice that when you ask it a question, it sort of shows you the reasoning and the logic that it's thinking through as it's thinking through it. However, it's showing you like a summarized version of that logic. We're not actually seeing the complete chain of thought that it's going through. It's just like little snippets of the chain of thought. And people are trying to really reverse engineer that and figure out what is this model actually sort of telling itself and going back and forth on. OpenAI is still trying to keep that hidden. I'm assuming it's because they're worried that other companies might sort of reverse engineer it. And apparently, if you do try to reverse engineer it, you could potentially get banned from using OpenAI products. Here's another really weird one. I've only seen one claim of this, so I'm not sure if this is fake news or not. It totally well could be. But one person on Reddit claims that ChatGPT actually initiated a conversation with them before they ever sent a message. We can actually see in this screenshot that they shared here, ChatGPT shared the first message here. How was your first week at high school? Did you settle in well? This person, Milo here, responded, "Did you just message me first?" ChatGPT says, "Yes, I did. I just wanted to check in and see how things went with your first week of high school. If you'd rather initiate the conversation yourself, just let me know." They ask if it's a new update, and ChatGPT replied with, "Yes, it's part of an update that allows me to check in or follow up on things we've talked about, like your first day of school. I can still wait for you to start the conversation if you prefer." Again, I've only seen this one claim of this happening. I feel like if this was happening a lot, we'd see it all over X and we'd see other YouTube videos talking about this right here. This is the only one I've seen, so I don't totally know how legitimate it is. I also don't understand when this would happen. Would it happen like when you open up the ChatGPT window and start a new chat and then the new chat just starts messaging you? I don't really quite understand how this would happen in the first place, which is sort of making my alarm bells trigger that this could be fake. Moving on to Google, there's been a handful of little Google AI updates this week, most of them actually on the YouTube side, but they did announce that they're going to start flagging AI-generated images directly in search later this year. Inside of Search, Google Lens, and the Circle to Search feature on Android, if an image has metadata that states that the image was generated with AI, it's going to let people know as soon as that image pops up. Now, it has to have that metadata. It can't actually tell what's AI and what's not unless this metadata is actually sort of baked into the image. Moving on to some of the YouTube announcements, there was a little YouTube event this week where they announced a bunch of new features rolling out. I'm going to focus on the AI features, including one that's coming out of Google DeepMind. Google's rolling out some new video generation features directly inside of YouTube Shorts. They're going to be integrating Google's Veo model directly into a Dream Screen. You can see here they have a little create button at the top of the screen inside of the app here. When you click on create, it asks you to describe what you want. It gives you some sort of presets like vintage, watercolor, digital, etc. And in this example, they type cinematic underwater reveal of the Golden Gate Bridge. And then they click on create. And then what it does is it generates 4 different still images that it will use as the sort of starting frame of your video. So you can see it generated these 4 images here. You select one that you like, and then it does its thing and converts it into a video version of that image that you just generated. Here's another example of a dreamlike secret garden with vivid colors, etc. And here's a whole bunch of different examples of what it generated from that. But that's not the only AI features they're rolling out for YouTubers. They're actually adding a inspiration feature here, which can help curate suggestions that you can mold into fully fledged projects. So they can type brainstorm video ideas, new types of art, and they click get ideas, and then it lets them explore video ideas. And then it helps them create the outline here. And then it starts generating thumbnail ideas for that video for you. So it really kind of looks like it's going to help across the board with ideation, outlining, thumbnail ideas, the entire gamut of the sort of creative process of ideation for YouTube. They also announced that they're bringing auto dubbing to YouTube, which is really cool because I can record a video like this in English and it will automatically dub it and localize it to whoever's watching my video in whatever location they're watching it in. That can open up so many more views for YouTubers because I record in English, but I could potentially have a huge audience in India or Japan or Germany or one of these places. And if you don't speak English, you're probably not going to watch my videos. But if this dubbing feature is in play, now it will automatically dub any of my videos to whatever language. That's really cool. Now, they announced a whole bunch of other features for YouTubers as well, but those are the main AI features. There's like a new hype button. They're changing the way YouTube videos look on Netflix, things like that. But for this channel, I'm kind of focused on the AI stuff for right now. Moving on to large language model news, the company Alibaba out of China just released more than 100 new open source models. These come from the Qwen 2.5 family of models, ranging from 500 million parameters all the way up to 72 billion parameters. They aim to cater to a wide array of AI applications across various sectors, including automotive, gaming, and scientific research. And they also unveiled a new text-to-video model as part of its Tongl Wanxiang image generation family. I'm sure I butchered that. Now, I haven't actually seen this text-to-video model yet, but these large language models that they put out, specifically the 72 billion parameter Qwen model, is now apparently the best open source model in the world, according to Bendu Reddy here. She posted this screenshot with these various benchmarks, and we can see Llama 3.1405B over here, Mistral Large 2, Qwen 2, 72B, and this new Qwen 2.5 72B. And in most of these benchmarks here, it's outperforming the rest of these open source models. All right, I want to move on to AI video because there's been a lot that came out in the world of AI video this week as well. Starting with this one that actually came last week, but I sort of missed it in last week's video because I typically record these on Thursdays, release them on Fridays. Last week I recorded on Friday, but had to release it on Saturday due to my schedule. And this came out on Friday.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you very, very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you very, very much.
Friday after I recorded that video.
Oh,
And that's the fact that Runway dropped a new video-to-video model. Now, Gen 1 was already sort of a video-to-video model, but this one is so much more improved over that model. I found this Instagram post here from AI Searches video. It's just really interesting, the timing of this announcement with some of the recent bills that were just signed in California. Late last week, Runway also announced that they're opening up their API so developers can have direct access. So we're probably going to see a whole bunch of AI video tools coming out in the near future that just leverage Runway's API in the back end that probably try to claim to be a new video model, but they're just leveraging the Runway API. If you're not familiar with an API, it's basically a way for other software to access the abilities that something like Runway can do. So other companies can go and build their own tools to generate videos and use Runway's technology on the back end. Now, the Runway API is still in early access. You have to apply for access if you're a developer, and I guess they're slowly rolling it out to people. On the exact same day that Runway announced their API, Luma Labs Dream Machine also announced they're making their API publicly available so that companies can build with their API and their video generator. One big difference about the Luma AI API is that, well, you can start right now. So these like AI video wars are heating up. These companies are obviously competing with each other and trying to constantly one-up each other. Runway says, hey, we've got an API now, get on the waiting list. Luma says, hey, we've got an API, go use it now. Again, I think all of this is just going to lead to a whole bunch of new video apps popping up. Running future tools, I see so many apps submitted. I'd say only about 10% of the apps that are submitted actually make the website because so many of them are just, GPT-4, but somebody put their own user interface over it, or Stable Diffusion, but somebody put their own user interface over it. They're the same things that already exist, but somebody's just putting a new website in front of it and saying, hey, this is my new tool. And they submit it to future tools, and I'm looking at it going, this is just something that already exists. These APIs are really valuable if they're sort of built into something that's more of like a workflow where multiple steps happen. but they're not super valuable if you're just going to go and create a super thin wrapper around the API. Essentially, build a front-end user interface, but what the tool does is exactly what Runway or Luma does already. That's not valuable, but I think we're going to see an explosion of that pretty soon. The Chinese AI video model Kling also got some updates this week. They put out an announcement video here on X. They released Kling 1.5, and probably the coolest feature of this new model is this new motion brush feature, which I'll show you in just a sec here. But they've also improved the image quality, so it looks a little bit more realistic here. Improved dynamic quality with improved motion rationalization, such as eating and bird flights. Improved prompt relevance, so it can now handle more complex prompts. But like I mentioned, the motion brush feature is probably the coolest feature that they've just added. So for example, they've got this image here of a moon, and we can see they highlight the moon by selecting it, and then it says draw a path. And they draw an arrow, and we can see it generates a video of the moon moving in the direction where they just drew that arrow. We've got this image of a cat here. They highlight the cat, and then they draw a path that kind of goes up and then back down again for the cat. And then the video shows the cat leaping over the bowl here. Here's some more examples I came across on this L Scene X account here. Here's another one of a cat where they highlight the cat. You can see as they sort of move the mouse around, it highlights areas to help you select the right thing. So they select the cat, they make sure they grab the tail and everything. And then they draw a little line showing the cat leaping onto the table. And guess what? We get a video of a cat leaping onto a table. This isn't real time because I'm sort of scrolling, but if I press play, that's the speed that the video goes through right there. Here's another image of a soldier sitting in mud. They highlight just the soldier here, draw a little arrow to show what the soldier needs to do. And this is the video we get out of it. The soldier getting up and walking away. Now, the soldier morphs a little, but it's still pretty dang impressive. And there's a whole bunch of other examples here on this X thread, like this car going left or right on the fork, another image of a soldier jumping. But I'll link this up in the description below so you can check out all of these various examples. This is really exciting. I'm hoping to see Luma, Dream Machine, and Runway ML bake some of these features in as well, because this is really exciting. Also this week, Amazon had a conference called the Amazon Accelerate Conference, I believe, and they announced a whole bunch of new stuff, including their own video generator. However, this video generator is just for creating product ads for your Amazon products. So if we take a peek here in the back end of Amazon under this new campaign feature, they have the option to create a video ad here. You select video ad, and then it asks you which product you want to make the video around. It then gives you a preview of 4 different potential video options that you can hover over, and it makes a nice little product video showing off your product. You can then edit the video with headlines and change the text on the screen. The only thing is, when you're using video, you're kind of using video on Amazon to stand out. If everybody has access to this feature, does anybody really stand out? Are all these videos going to sort of look the same? I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. Amazon also debuted Project Amelia, which is an AI assistant for...
You can go watch it over here. Matt Wolfie. Matt Wolfie, eh? New one.
It's been an insane week for AI news. It feels like the month of January has had a year's worth of news already. And this focused on reducing the risk of nuclear war and securing nuclear materials and weapons worldwide. Now, all of this talk is about preventing diseases and preventing disasters and defense and all that. But a part of me has to think they're also going to work with the government to like weaponize this stuff too, right? Like most likely, right? Okay, I'll take off.
So you go Matt Wolfie. Alright. Adios amigos. Come on, subscribe to intermixhector. Yoo-hoo. God bless ya.